Good morning, friends. For those of you who weren't able to gather with us online yesterday, I thought I'd share with you our devotion from that gathering. And it comes from John chapter 15, where Jesus speaks to his disciples and shares with them about what it looks like to establish true rhythms in life. And this is what he says: "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that if you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples." Wow. As Jesus speaks to his disciples, he teaches them what it means to remain in him. And he uses the illustration of grapes growing on a vine and how the farmer would allow the vine to have a season of abiding, a season of simply being and growing. And at the end of that season, it would produce fruit. And at the end of that fruiting, it would be pruned back into another season of abiding. And so we find that our lives are very similar, that our lives are to produce fruit, and that there are times where our lives need to be pruned back so that we might enter into another season of abiding in the true vine. Well, sometimes we might do that ourselves, and sometimes that might be forced upon us. And this is one such season during the COVID-19 pandemic, where many of us have had our lives pruned back, and we find that the rhythms of life, the things that we might used to have done, whether it's socializing with friends, going to church, even going to work, might have been pruned back, and we have all this time that we have to figure out, what do we do with ourselves? Well, I want to give us 5 helpful suggestions about how we might use our time wisely and how we might establish healthy rhythms. The first one, number 1, is actually spend some time each day spiritually abiding. Spend some time in prayer. Spend some time in worship. Develop that rhythm and practice within your life where you do have more time. Do that. Second one, because not all of them are about simply worship and prayer and that sense there, but in order to actually develop healthy rhythms, continue keeping your bedtime and wake-up routine as you did beforehand. Regardless of whether you're going to work, regardless of whether you're dropping the kids off to school, actually establish and continue those helpful and healthy patterns of life. Third one, spend some time each day in exercise. Whether you get out for a walk, whether you're doing yoga in the living room, spend some time each day leaning into that physical fitness side. Develop healthy patterns, because it's so tempting right now to develop rhythms and patterns that do not lead to good health. And we want to be caring for our whole self, not just our spiritual self, but our physical self, our emotional self, our mental self as well. All right, here's a key one for many of us. Limit your social media intake. It is so easy to get caught up constantly checking Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, even the news. And at times it's helpful to think back, how do we pull back? How do we spend some time in more productive activities? And how do we not let fear pervade our life so that we abide in the true vine. And finally, my friends, the fifth point that I want to make is be careful of the tendency to seek to escape at this time. Whether that's through alcohol, whether that's through Netflix, movies, all those good things that we can make into great things and pursue them and pursue to abide in them, which do not give true rest, but instead abide in the one who has created us, the one who breathed life into us, and the one who will actually give real rest in this time, and the one who will actually produce fruit in us. Well, my friends, I hope these points have been helpful for you as you begin a new week, as you spend time in self-isolation with those in your household, and as you seek to use this time to abide in our Creator and in the one who gives true rest and true life. Have a great week, friends. Bye.